Massachusetts, just outside Boston, a quiet town that smelled of sea salt. A place where people still greeted each other, where flower-printed cards were dropped into mailboxes, where the scent of warm bread mixed with the morning breeze. Cobblestone streets sparkled in the rain, old oak trees reached up to the rooftops of houses. Fishing boats swayed in the harbor, seagulls waited for the boats returning from the sea. Olivia Pierce lived here, 32 years old, long brown hair always in a bun, wearing glasses, quiet, ordinary, even invisible to some. Bill, the neighborhood grocer, wouldn't even look up when he said, "Good morning, ma'am," every morning. Martha, the mail carrier, couldn't even remember her name correctly. Even her neighbors, Sarah and Tom, had no idea what Olivia actually did for work. But nobody knew that she woke up before dawn to go running, then returned home to put on her uniform, and worked as a specialist in the U.S. Navy's cybersecurity unit. Nobody knew about the nights she spent at her computer, the complex algorithms she solved, the national secrets she protected. From the outside, Olivia was someone who wore simple clothes, walked with her head down, quietly waited in line at the market, someone who walked along the edges of life. But inside her mind, codes flew around, possibilities were calculated, and she solved dark data streams that threatened national security. Olivia's house was small, organized, and minimalist. There were no photos on the walls, just a few bookshelves and a modern computer setup. In the evenings, she listened to classical music and sometimes played piano. Her mother had taught her as a child. Her mother, Lisa, was a math teacher who had shown her daughter the beauty of numbers, the magic of logic. Her father, David, was a sailor, and from him she learned calmness and endurance. Everything started on an ordinary Monday morning. Olivia woke up at 5:30 to her alarm. She put on her running clothes and ran 5 kilometers along the coast. While listening to the sound of the sea, her thoughts flowed freely. A report she had read last night was about cyber attack trends in Russia. The new artificial intelligence developments in China worried her. But this morning, everything was normal. Seagulls were crying, waves were hitting the shore. When she returned home, she showered and had a simple breakfast: oatmeal, fruit, black coffee. She put on her gray suit and picked up her bag. When she looked in the mirror, she saw that familiar image again: ordinary, invisible, forgettable. On the bus, she watched outside through the window while classical music played in her headphones. Bach's Goldberg variations calmed her mind. Most people passed by without noticing her. A mother was trying to calm her child. An elderly man was reading a newspaper. Everyone was in their own world, just like Olivia. When she arrived at Norfolk Naval Base, she went through security control. She showed her ID and swiped her card. Security guard Jake said good morning to her, and she politely replied. But that day, when she stepped into the office, she noticed that all systems were unusually active. The normally quiet corridor was filled with hustle and bustle. Technicians with laptops in their hands were rushing here and there. Phone sounds were constantly ringing. There was electricity in the atmosphere, the kind of electricity felt during crisis moments. "Olivia, to the war room immediately," said her supervisor, Commander Reeves. His panic could be read on his face. Reeves was usually a calm man. 45 years old, a former sailor, he had seen 3 wars. Seeing him, panicked, worried Olivia. The war room was a place with giant screens arranged in a semicircle. Codes were dancing on the screens, maps had turned red, some servers were locked. Olivia's colleagues, Dr. Chen, Marcus, Elena, were examining the screens, rapidly pressing keyboard keys. Dr. Chen came to Olivia's side. He was of Chinese origin, had a doctorate in cybersecurity, a calm and methodical man. "Let me summarize the situation," he said. At 06:30 this morning, a sophisticated attack began on the Pentagon's main systems. Not just the Pentagon. There are reports from various units of the Department of Defense. This is a multi-layered, multi-targeted operation. Marcus was a young and energetic programmer. 26 years old, MIT graduate, quick thinker, fast talker. Olivia, this attack pattern is something we've never seen before. It's not traditional malware, not a DDoS attack either. It's like someone is looking for something. Elena was the most experienced of the team. 40 years old, former CIA analyst, spoke 4 languages, expert in cyber intelligence. The attackers aren't trying to break into systems and steal data, she said. They're trying to access specific files, but we can't understand which files. Apparently, a very sophisticated, multi-layered cyber attack had begun on the Pentagon, and the direction of the attack was unclear. When Olivia sat at her computer, only this line appeared on the screen. Every key opens another door. Solve the code, protect the security. This message was visible on the system's main screen. There was nothing else. Just this enigmatic sentence, written in green letters on a black screen. Olivia took a deep breath. This type of attack usually targeted direct technical vulnerabilities. They would find a security gap, infiltrate the system from there, steal data, or cause damage. But this was different. This attack was coded with encrypted messages, classical literary quotes, mathematical sequences. It was like a puzzle, and Olivia's mind shined in exactly these types of puzzles. As a child, her mother would buy her puzzle books, and they would solve them together. Sudoku, crosswords, logic problems. Olivia loved these. In university, she took cryptography courses and learned encryption techniques. Now this knowledge would be useful. She began to analyze the message. Every key opens another door. Was this a metaphor, or was it a real clue? Solve the code, protect the security. Who was protecting whose security? Olivia examined the system's log files. The attack had started at 06:30 in the morning, but the first activity was seen at 06:15. Someone had entered the system at 06:15 and left this message at 06:30. So what had happened in those 15 minutes? Hours passed. Olivia didn't get up from her screen. Her colleagues were developing various theories, but none were satisfactory. Dr. Chen thought the attack might be from China. Marcus said it was the work of an organized hacker group. Elena suggested it was a state-sponsored operation. But Olivia felt something different. Behind this attack was technical expertise, but there was also a personal dimension. It was as if someone was playing a game with them. It was necessary to understand the rules of this game. Olivia searched for "every key opens another door" on Google. Many results came up: philosophy, literature, even movie quotes. But none provided context. Then she approached it mathematically. Key could be an encryption term. Door could mean an access point. She examined the system's encrypted files. There she found something: a secret folder named Doors. Inside this folder were subfolders: Door 1, Door 2, Door 3, up to Door 7. Each folder contained encrypted files. Olivia tried to open the first door. The password question was, which number equals the sum of its square? Olivia thought. 12 plus 1 carf 2, no. 02 plus 0 carf 0, yes. The answer was 0. The first door opened. Inside was a text file. Fibonacci's dance, the secret of the golden ratio. Find the 5th number, open the second door. Olivia smiled. The Fibonacci sequence. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. The 5th number was 3. The password for the second door must be 3. Meanwhile, Commander Reeves came to Olivia's side. "How's it going?" he asked. Reeves trusted Olivia's abilities. 3 years ago, she had stopped a North Korean cyber attack. 6 months ago, She had thwarted the plans of an Iranian-backed hacker group. It's an interesting situation, Olivia said. This attack doesn't use traditional attack methods. It's like someone is playing a game with us. Playing this game means understanding the attack at the same time. Reeves frowned. A game? This is a national security matter, Olivia. We don't have time to play games. I know, sir, but this person or group wants us to approach it this way. If we play by the rules, we can win. If we attack directly, most likely the system will protect itself and we won't be able to learn anything, Reeves thought. Olivia's logic made sense. He trusted her years of experience. Okay, but we have a time limit. The higher authorities are pressuring us. If you can't solve it within 48 hours, we'll use more aggressive methods. At that moment, someone new entered the room. Lieutenant Colonel Catherine Mitchell, a cybersecurity expert from the Pentagon. She was tall, stern-looking, and talkative. I heard about the situation, she said. Have we found the source of this attack? Dr. Chen summarized the situation for her. Mitchell listened, but showed signs of impatience. You're approaching this too complexly, she said. Wouldn't it be more logical to directly shut down the system and restart it? Elena objected. If we shut down the system, the attacker could clean up the data. We won't be able to learn who did it or understand how they did it. They could launch bigger attacks in the future. Marcus also agreed. Also, if the system is shut down, critical data might be damaged. The attacker might have done this deliberately. Mitchell didn't look satisfied, but didn't continue the argument. He turned to Olivia. What do you think, Pierce? Olivia noticed the tone in Mitchell's voice. It was a bit challenging. I think this attack is different from what we've seen before. There is technical skill here, but also a psychological side. The attacker is watching us, learning from our reactions. If we move too fast, he can use our mistakes. Mitchell asked, How much time do you need? I can't give an exact time, but we're doing well so far. Solving these puzzles helps us understand the source of the attack. Hours passed. Olivia unlocked the second gate. The third gate's password was the number of words in a Shakespeare sonnet. The fourth gate used Einstein's ELMC2 formula. The fifth asked about the length of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. With every gate she unlocked, Olivia learned more about the attacker. This person was very educated. They knew about math, physics, music, and literature. But not just educated, they also understood military systems well. Things got harder at the sixth gate. It asked, which admiral's third son became a captain of a first-class frigate? It was a very specific question about military history. Olivia asked Dr. Chen for help. Chen was good with military history. This is a very specific question, he said. Very few people would know this. Either someone who studies a lot or someone who grew up in a military environment. Olivia thought, who could this attacker be? Someone from the inside? Or a very well-prepared outside attack? Then Elena noticed something. Olivia, these questions are not random. The answer to one question helps solve the next. It's like a chain. Olivia thought about Elena's words. She was right. The Fibonacci sequence is linked to the golden ratio. The golden ratio connects to art and music. Music is part of classical culture. Classical culture links to education. Education connects to military training. This person knows our education system, said Olivia. They went through both civilian and military education. They have a very wide knowledge. The seventh gate. The seventh gate was the hardest. The password was not a question. It was a complex algorithm problem. Olivia worked for hours. The algorithm looked like a random number generator, but was actually based on a very smart math formula. Late at night, Olivia was still working. Her teammates had gone home. Only security guards and night technicians were around. Suddenly, she remembered something. She had seen this kind of algorithm in university. One of her professors liked such problems. Professor Grant had taught similar algorithms in cryptography classes. Olivia looked into it. Yes, this algorithm was from a technique developed by Professor Grant in the 1990s. It wasn't used much because it wasn't practical, but it was taught to cryptography students. This person studied cryptography, Olivia thought. Most likely military cryptography. When she finally unlocked the seventh gate, a message appeared. Congratulations, Pierce, you found me. Now it's time to face the truth. Olivia's heart beat faster. The attacker knew her name. This was definitely an insider attack. The next day, Olivia came in more determined. She had barely slept. Many questions filled her mind. Who was the attacker? Why was she being targeted? Was this personal or part of a bigger plan? In the morning, she shared everything with the team. Everyone was shocked. The attacker knows me, Olivia said. This means the attack is coming from inside. Commander Reeves looked very serious. If it's someone from the inside, this is a very big security problem, and at a very high level. Lieutenant Colonel Mitchell asked, "Do you suspect anyone?" Olivia hesitated. Yes, she did. But it was hard to say. The person she suspected was once her mentor, a high-ranking admiral, Admiral Harrison Whitmore. Whitmore was 60 years old, with 35 years in the Navy. He was an expert in cybersecurity. At the start of Olivia's career, he had guided her. He taught her cryptography. He gave her chances to grow in cybersecurity. But in recent years, Whitmore had changed. He had become more negative, more critical. He often criticized the Pentagon's cybersecurity policies. "We're too passive," he said. "We only defend. We don't attack." Olivia remembered something he said last year during a private meeting. Sometimes the system needs to be shaken from the inside. That's the only way people will see real threats. Olivia reviewed the evidence. The algorithm in the seventh gate clearly had Whitmore's style. Not just the algorithm, the questions too. He often combined classical culture, military history, math, and music. But she had no hard proof. Only the coding style, the same one Whitmore used years ago. Legally, it wasn't enough. If Olivia shared her suspicions, her career could be in danger. Whitmore was powerful. He had many connections. If the accusations were wrong, her career would be over. But if she stayed silent, the country could face great danger. This attack might just be the beginning of something much bigger. She spent nights thinking. She went on walks alone. She sat on the beach, watching the waves. The wind touched her face, and the salty smell of the sea filled her lungs. In this small town, she had to make a big decision. She called her mother, Lisa. She didn't want to worry her, but needed advice. "Mom, I have to make a hard choice. What I decide will affect my career and other people too." Her mother spoke calmly. "Olivia, I know how I raised you. You must do what is right, no matter what happens after." Olivia smiled. Her mother always spoke clearly. "But Mom, what if I'm wrong?" "If you're wrong, at least you were wrong for the right reasons. But if you avoid doing what's right, you'll regret it forever." In the end, Olivia made her decision. She was going to do the right thing. The next day, Olivia went to work with a different plan. Instead of directly accusing Whitmore, she decided to investigate more carefully. If Whitmore was really behind the attack, he must have left some digital traces. Olivia started checking the system logs. Who had accessed the system? From which IP addresses? Which files had been opened? After hours of searching, she found something strange. 3 days before the attack, someone had accessed the system from Whitmore's office. It happened late at night, which was unusual. Whitmore usually went to bed early and didn't access the system after 11 p.m. Olivia went deeper. Which files had been opened that night? What programs had been run? What she found was shocking. Whitmore had reviewed the system's source codes and had run some test programs that night. But the most important finding was a program created on Whitmore's office computer. This program used the exact same algorithms as the ones used in the attack. Olivia faced a dilemma. She now had evidence, but how should she use it? She could go to her superiors and accuse Whitmore. But maybe Whitmore had already thought about this situation. Instead, Olivia created a smarter plan. She went deeper into the system. Through the codes, she built a counterattack. She stopped the attack and documented all digital traces of the leak. But this was a very risky operation. If Whitmore noticed, he could destroy the evidence and take action against Olivia. At night, after going home, Olivia kept working. On her personal computer, she accessed the system remotely. Step by step, she carefully analyzed Whitmore's program. The program was very sophisticated. It didn't just attack, it was also made to clean up the evidence. Whitmore had tried not to leave any trace, but Olivia had figured out his plan. After the attack, Whitmore would erase all the evidence, his program and the traces in the system logs. After the report was submitted, things moved quickly. The Military Ethics Committee took the claims seriously and started a full investigation. Olivia stayed in the background. No one knew she had written the report. The investigation team reviewed the evidence Olivia had provided, the programs on Whitmore's computer, the system logs, the IP addresses. Everything pointed to him. 1 week later, Whitmore was questioned. At first, he denied everything. "This is a setup," he said. "Someone is trying to ruin me." But the evidence was too strong. The digital traces, the timeline, the algorithm similarities. It was impossible to deny. Olivia watched the investigation from a distance. Commander Reeves kept her updated. "No one knows who wrote the report," Reeves said, "but it's very professional. Whoever wrote it has deep knowledge of both cybersecurity and military procedures." On the third day of the investigation, Whitmore couldn't take it anymore and confessed. But his confession was more complicated than just admitting guilt. "Yes, I did it," Whitmore said. "But my goal wasn't to harm the country. I wanted to show how weak our cybersecurity really is." Whitmore had been criticizing the Pentagon's cybersecurity policies for years. "We are too passive," he used to say. "We only defend. We are not proactive. When a real attack comes, we'll be unprepared." "This attack was like a test," he continued. "I wanted to see how secure the system was, and the result is very worrying. If an insider can attack so easily and stay unnoticed for days, what could our enemies do?" Whitmore's words made the investigation team think. On one hand, what he did was clearly wrong and had to be punished. On the other hand, the problems he exposed were real and serious. On the fifth day of the investigation, Whitmore said something else. "I want to know who solved this, because this person is very talented, solving all the puzzles, analyzing my algorithms, finding the digital traces. That's not something a regular technician could do." Commander Reeves said, "It was a team effort. Everyone helped." But Whitmore didn't accept that. "No, this was done by one person, and that person is highly educated in math, music, literature, and cybersecurity. That kind of profile fits very few people." Whitmore made a list. People at the Pentagon who matched that profile. The list had 3 names: Dr. Chen, Elena, and Olivia. Chen is very good, but too methodical. Solving this attack needed creativity too. Elena is very experienced, but doesn't have that much cultural knowledge. That leaves Olivia. That day, Reeves went to Olivia. "Whitmore suspects you're the one who solved this. Is that true?" Olivia stayed silent for a while. Then she said, "Yes, sir. Mostly I did. But it was a team effort. Everyone contributed. Reeves smiled. You also wrote the report, didn't you? Olivia nodded. I just wanted to do what was right. Justice had to be served. Weeks later, Admiral Whitmore was removed from duty. The official statement said, unethical digital activities. A military court sentenced him to 6 months in prison and a rank demotion. Also, he lost all access to military systems. But the problems Whitmore revealed were also taken seriously. The Pentagon reviewed its cybersecurity policies. New protocols were developed. Proactive defense mechanisms were built. Olivia's name was never mentioned in any official report, but she knew. Her teammates knew. Her manager knew. Even Whitmore knew. One day, Reeves came to her and simply said, the country owes you, but mostly we do, because you protected us when no one saw. And while doing it, you showed both justice and mercy. Olivia smiled. A small, quiet, but big smile. After the incident, Olivia's career path changed. Reeves gave her new responsibilities. Now, she wasn't just stopping attacks, she was also teaching cybersecurity. Young technicians were learning from Olivia. They respected her and benefited from her experience. But Olivia was still the same humble person. One day, a young technician named Jake came to her. Olivia, how do you do this job so well? What's your secret? Olivia thought. There is no real secret. Just be careful, patient, and focus on doing the right thing. Jake said, but you're very humble. You don't brag about your success. Why? Olivia smiled. Because real success is doing the job well, not bragging. True satisfaction comes from knowing you did the right thing. Months passed. Olivia faced new attacks. Sophisticated Chinese operations, Russian-backed disinformation campaigns, Iranian attacks on financial systems. Each one was a different challenge, a different puzzle. But Olivia had learned from her experiences. She was not only focusing on technical solutions anymore. She also analyzed the psychology and motivation of the attackers. One day, she faced a very complex attack. It looked like it came from North Korea, but the attack patterns didn't match. Olivia did deep analysis. Behind the attack was a different group, an organized crime network. This group was copying North Korean techniques to make the attack look like it came from a state. But their goal was not political tension. It was money. Olivia discovered this trick. She found the real attackers. With international cooperation, they caught the members of the criminal group. This operation needed cybersecurity experts from different countries to work together. Olivia's success was heard in the international cybersecurity world. The European Union, NATO, Interpol, they all wanted to learn from her experience. But Olivia was still humble. She attended conferences and shared her knowledge, but she never tried to stand out. One day, she gave a talk at an international cybersecurity conference in London. Thousands of experts listened to her presentation. But Olivia didn't talk about herself. She talked about teamwork, cooperation, and the importance of being open to learning. After the talk, a journalist asked her, "You've led many successful operations. How would you describe yourself?" Olivia said, "I'm just a technician doing my job. Success is a result of teamwork. I couldn't have done anything alone." After that day, Olivia's life continued as before. She went on morning runs, drank her coffee, wrote code. But now, she knew something about herself. Being invisible doesn't mean being weak. A person who walks silently can shake the world the most. And true heroism is putting the truth in front, not your own name. Olivia still lived in the same small town. Her neighbors Sarah and Tom didn't know about the world-saving operations she did. Bill at the grocery store still saw her as just a regular customer. Martha the mailwoman still got her name wrong. But Olivia didn't care, because she knew that true value is not in how others see you, but in the voice of your own conscience. Years passed. Olivia was now a senior expert. Young technicians were learning from her, but she was never a strict teacher. She always stayed patient, kind, and helpful. One day, a young woman named Maria, who had just started working, came to her. Maria was a lot like Olivia, quiet, humble, but very talented. "Olivia," Maria said, "can I really do this job well? Sometimes it feels too complicated." Olivia looked at Maria. In this young woman, 20 years younger, she saw her own past. "Maria, talent is important, but character is more important. If you focus on doing what's right, the rest will follow." Maria said, "But you're so successful. I could never be like you." Olivia smiled. "I used to think the same way, but I learned that success is not a goal. It's a process. Every day you try to be a little better. Every day you focus on doing what's right." Over time, Olivia became the leader of the team. But her leadership style was different from the traditional, strict military style. She inspired instead of commanding. She supported instead of scaring. Everyone in her team respected Olivia because they knew she protected them. She didn't hide their mistakes. She helped them learn. One day, there was a crisis in the team. A young technician named Alex made a big mistake. It caused a small security issue. Alex was very worried and afraid of losing his job. Olivia called Alex. "Alex, maybe you made a mistake, but this is not the end of the world. What's important is what you learn from it." Alex said, "But this mistake could have caused big problems." Olivia replied, "Yes, but it didn't. Because we work as a team. One person's mistake is another's chance to learn. What matters is not making the same mistake again." Through the years, Olivia developed her own work philosophy. It applied not just to cybersecurity, but to life. Silence is power. Instead of always proving yourself, focus on doing your job well. Teamwork is everything. You can be great alone, but as a team, you can create miracles. Be open to learning. Accept what you don't know and focus on learning. Do the right thing. It might be hard sometimes, but it's always the right choice in the long run. Stay humble. Success is not for pride. It's a chance to take more responsibility. At the end of Olivia's career, she faced her biggest challenge. An international cyber attack group targeted the critical infrastructure of many countries at the same time. The USA, Europe, Japan, Australia, all were under attack. This operation needed all of Olivia's experience, knowledge, and leadership skills. Experts from different countries worked under her coordination. After many days of complex operations, the attack network was destroyed. The world was saved from a huge cyber disaster. But this success was never shown as Olivia's personal victory. It was presented as international teamwork. When Olivia turned 60, she decided to retire. During her career, she led many operations, saved the world many times, but she never tried to be in the spotlight. At her farewell ceremony, there were top Pentagon officials, international colleagues, and young technicians. Everyone talked about Olivia's contributions. Commander Reeves, who was now a general, said, "Olivia Pierce was one of the most valuable people this organization has ever seen. She didn't only have technical skills, she also had strong character, honesty, and humility." Olivia gave a speech at the ceremony. "The most important thing I've learned in my 30-year career is this. Real success is not about making your name famous, but about doing the right thing. I'm proud to be part of an organization with this kind of culture." After retirement, Olivia returned to her small town. She still lived in the same house. She still went jogging in the mornings. She still sat by the beach and watched the waves. Sometimes young technicians came to ask for her advice. University students also asked for her guidance, but Olivia never saw herself as a hero. One day, her young niece Emma, who was in primary school, asked her, "Aunt Olivia, did you really save the world?" Olivia smiled. "Emma, no one saves the world alone. We all try to do the right thing together. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't. But we keep trying." Emma said, "But you are so humble. I think you are a hero." Olivia hugged Emma. "If being a hero means quietly doing the right thing, then maybe we can all be heroes." Final sentence. Sometimes no one will clap for you, but that doesn't mean what you did has no value. Real heroes walk silently, but their footprints stay forever. And the most important applause comes from your own heart. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to hear what inspired you the most. And where in the world are you watching from? Let us know below.